Hey now, we're heading out camping tomorrow and we are going to be making one of our favorite family snacks, which is smoked jalapeno poppers. This is something we also make at home using my Pit Boss 700 FB, but going camping, we're going to use the portable Pit Boss, the 150 PPS. Let me show you how we like to make these poppers. So of course the first important ingredient here would be our jalapenos. I like these medium-sized ones that range from about 2.5 to 3 inches in length. You can go with larger ones. They fit more stuffing and that's super cool. But then I find that you wind up needing a full strip of bacon to go around and you wind up going through more bacon, which, I mean, come on. You know, what's really wrong with more bacon? Well, I want more poppers. So here we go. Now, what we're going to do with these here, now that they're cleaned and rinsed off, is I'm just going to cut off really just the stem here, the tiniest bit of the top. I'm going to split them in half like so. And then I want to remove all of this inside here because, I mean, while I love the seeds and everything like that, it's going to prevent me from being able to get all of that cheesy goodness inside. I'm not worried if there are some extra seeds in here. Again, I love the heat. One nice thing about these smaller jalapenos too is I find they typically tend to be a little bit hotter. We're trying to get rid of most of that pulp though, just to give us room for the cheese. So I'm going to do this with all of my jalapenos halved and basically cleaned out. I'm also going to mention that I'm wearing these gloves, very important, so that I don't wind up burning my eyes or anything later on tonight. And here we are. Let's make some filling. All right, so my daughter over here fancies herself the jalapeno popper preparer extraordinaire, so we're going to follow her lead and guidance on this, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so everything's going to be done in the food processor here. We're starting off with cream cheese. I've got two cup or 250 gram packages of that, so we're just going to get that in. And then we've got some cheddar cheese that we grated by hand here, because that's better than the grated stuff, and this is 250 grams of that. I'm going to put that in, so it's a 2-to-1 ratio. This whole recipe here with the filling is definitely open to some interpretation and manipulation. So feel free to play around with ratios and quantities, even if you are following this. Okay, what else do we need?
We also need some Worcestershire sauce.
Some Worcestershire sauce, how much?
How
many of these? Huh?
Like 5.
2, 3, 4, 5 dashes of Worcestershire sauce.
And now we have a teaspoon of red chili flakes.
Boom! You could also use cayenne, or like we have some specialty like habanero pepper powders and stuff that we've got, but chili flakes are really common, so we've got those.
And now we have a teaspoon of garlic powder.
Woo.
And here's a teaspoon of onion powder. And now 1 tablespoon of paprika. Here we have a teaspoon of parsley flakes. And now a half teaspoon of chives.
Yeah, so this is chive powder that we made. We ran out of just like crushed or flaked chives, so we're gonna use that. And that is it. I'm gonna pop this on here and woo! You find that you run into a little bit of a sticky situation here where some of the stuff is not wanting to go. You can just bust it up a little bit and carry on with the food processing. And soon enough, you will be mixed up. Now at this point, you want to taste it, because we might need to add some salt. It just kind of depends on how salty your onion powder and garlic powder and all that stuff is, and the Worcestershire sauce and all those things. So, let's taste. It was actually almost the best part of this entire operation. Oh my, it's delicious. Salt?
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little. So we're gonna go a half teaspoon of that, just kind of sprinkle it in, and food process for another wee bit until it's all mixed up. Alrighty, so final taste test. Delicious. Let's stuff. Alright, so we're going to do this assembly line style. So we've got our jalapenos. We have transferred our delicious filling, which by the way, is also amazing in stuffed mushrooms, other than I would probably take the little stems of the mushrooms, chop them up and add them to this as well, and it would be phenomenal. So, while she starts to stuff those, I'm going to take this bacon, and the bacon, you don't want thick cut bacon, just regular cut bacon is great. Because we're going with these smaller jalapenos, we're going to get away with a half slice on each of them. I like it to be a little bit warmer, not just freshly cold, right out of the refrigerator. Let it warm up to room temperature. It stretches a little bit better. It makes it easier to wrap around. Now, there are probably some different techniques for doing this. I personally like to kind of actually start here, cap that end a little bit, and then we roll around, just kind of tucking underneath it there. And then that way, you're less likely to have anything try to leak out of that end. And we've got it covered up here just like that. If you don't have all of it completely wrapped up, that's okay. If we went with a full slice of bacon on these, you'd wind up having to at least double wrap most of it. And I find then that while that exterior slice of bacon will get nicely crispy, you're going to wind up with something a little bit more flaccid on the inside, and that isn't appealing for everybody. So there we are. All right, just like that, assembly line style, we're going to crunch through all of these. We managed to find an extra couple of jalapenos in the fridge, so we've got 42 poppers coming our way here for camping. So we wanted with some leftover filling here. So we actually took 6 mushrooms, since we had just been talking about them. We chopped up the stems, added them to the filling here. See, you got that? And we are just stuffing these up here. And we take these camping as well, because why not? So our poppers are all prepped up. If I was actually just smoking them here at home today, I would just have the smoker ready and they would go on directly there. But since we're waiting until tomorrow to do these up, I've got them. I actually have a full layer underneath here, the parchment paper, the second half layer, and then we have these 6 stuffed mushroom caps here. So they're going to get covered up in plastic wrap and fired in the fridge. It is a gorgeous early afternoon here in Kananaskis, Alberta, doing a little camping. Woo, trailer, and most importantly, you have the Pit Boss 150 PPS here, all set up, plugged in, cleaned up, ready to rock. Let's do it. We've got our poppers ready. The Pit Boss is ready. Let's load them up. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's do it. Get these all on here. These little babies, jalapeno popper babies. Yes.
Little scenery shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful mountains out there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Poppers. Now the question is, do we put the mushrooms on here and have fewer poppers on here, or do we go for more bacon in our lives?
There really is no wrong answer.
That's true. That's true. Smoked stuffed mushrooms. It's probably gonna be gross.
Yeah, tell you what, I'll eat them for you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do.
I'd hate to have to suffer through that. There we go. Just a little as it rolls off.
Zach!
Yay! And we're going to be running this at 300 degrees. Still just catching up after popping these in there, but oh man, all the excitement. We're sitting at a balmy 300 degrees in here. This is after 30 minutes. We're just hitting an hour in here. I'm turning it up to 350. These are starting to get pretty close. Okay, I think we have to try these mushrooms. Squeal! Right? Look at that. Boink! Mmm. It's fantastic. Here we are. We are nearly an hour and a half in, so that's 30 minutes of that 350. A bunch of these are ready to pull off. That's awesome. I'll throw a little hunk of sausage on there just to heat it up. There's one last mushroom. We need to eat that. And so, checking this out, that bacon is just perfectly formed right around there. Oh, yes. Time to eat. What are the odds that I completely burn myself here? Huh? Mmm. Okay. Not molten lava. And actually, the jalapeno is still just a touch crunchy. The flavors of the cheese, filling, amazing. Bacon, perfect. This is the only way to cook jalapeno poppers. So fantastic. Oh, and the quote-unquote expert says nothing. Oh, perfect. Excellent. It's taking our poopers to what?
11.
Ah.